For the last few years, the whole story in AI has been about one thing: scale. Who can build the biggest model? Who can throw the most parameters at a problem? But what if I told you that playbook is getting completely torn up and rewritten right now? We're going to dive into this because there's a huge strategic shift happening, moving away from brute force and towards real brain power.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Is this race really just about size anymore? For a long time, the answer was a pretty clear yes. More data plus more parameters equals a better model. But the costs, we're talking both compute power and the actual financial bills, are getting absolutely astronomical. And that's forcing everyone to rethink the entire game.
And this slide just nails the change perfectly. Over on the left, that's the old playbook. A straight line. Just make the model bigger. Simple. But on the right, that's the new playbook. It's not a bigger box. It's a smarter system, a workflow that actually orchestrates how the model thinks. We're going to break this whole new approach down into 3 key pillars.
Okay, first up, pillar number 1, thinking faster. This is all about cranking up the speed of a model's reasoning. But, and this is the absolute kicker, you do it without losing any quality. It's about getting to that same brilliant answer just in a tiny fraction of the time.
Now, to get why the new solutions are so cool, you first have to understand the technique they're trying to fix. It's called test time scaling. And it basically means when you ask a model a question, that's the inference part, you throw a ton of extra compute at it so it can think longer and deeper about the answer. This works. It works really well for improving quality, but it comes with a huge catch. It is incredibly slow.
So what does it actually mean for a model to think longer? Well, here are 2 of the most common ways. One method is called best of n sampling. The model generates, say, 16 different possible answers, and then it looks at all of them and picks the very best one. Another way is multi-round thinking. Here, it comes up with an answer, critiques its own work, and then improves it over and over in a loop. Both of these methods give you way better results.
And that leads us straight to the big real-world problem. All this extra thinking creates a massive latency bottleneck. It's fantastic for a research paper, but you can't build a product that people can actually use in real time if it takes minutes to answer a simple question. It's just way, way too slow.
So what's the fix for this speed trap? Well, it's an incredible technique called speculative decoding, and it's so smart because it's lossless. You don't sacrifice a single bit of quality. Here's how it works. You use a tiny, super-fast model to spit out a quick and dirty draft of the answer. Then, the big, powerful model comes in, but instead of writing the answer from scratch, it just looks at the draft and verifies or corrects it, all in one go. It's like having a brilliant intern do the first draft, and the genius professor just does a lightning-fast final review. You get the speed of the little guy with the guaranteed quality of the big one.
All right, so we figured out how to make a model think faster on a single problem. But what happens when you have a huge complex task that has dozens or even hundreds of steps? That brings us to pillar number 2, working smarter. This is all about keeping the model on track over the long haul, and it means we have to tame that infamous context window. Anyone who's tried to get an LLM to complete a long, multi-step project knows this pain. As the task drags on, the model's working memory, its context window, just gets totally overloaded. It starts to forget what it was doing, it ignores earlier instructions, the quality just tanks. They call this phenomenon context rot. The much smarter way to handle this is a new approach called context folding. Think of it like this. Instead of trying to shove every single detail of a huge project into its brain at once, the AI agent can now manage its own attention. It can see a part of the problem, branch off to solve that one subtask, and then, this is the key, it folds the result back in. Not the whole messy process, just a clean, concise summary. It's like cleaning up its own workspace as it goes. And this timeline just says it all. Look at the standard agent on top. By step 50, it's already struggling. By step 100, it's completely derailed, total context rot. It failed. But the agent using context folding, it stays in the green, perfectly stable, perfectly on task, all the way to the finish line.
And the results are just wow. An agent with context folding can get the same or even better results than a standard model while using an active context window that is 10 times smaller, 10x. That is a monumental gain in efficiency, saving you a ton on costs and making the AI way more reliable on those big, messy tasks.
And this brings us to our third and final pillar. And honestly, this is where the new playbook gets really wild. We're about to see how these smart workflows do more than just speed things up. They completely upend the old rules about model size and power.
It's about letting the little guys punch way, way above their weight class.
So let's set the stage for this matchup. In one corner, we have a monster 120 billion parameter model. In the other corner, a tiny 8 billion parameter model. I mean, that's a 15 times difference in raw size. In the old playbook, this isn't even a fair fight. The bigger model should crush the smaller one. End of story. But now, just look at this data. If you just let them run on their own, the baseline results are exactly what you'd expect. The small model gets about 21% right, the big one does better at around 39%. But now watch what happens when we give them a smart workflow. This one is called Prime, and it helps them think step by step. Both models get a huge boost. But look at the little 8B model. It skyrockets from a measly 21% all the way up to an incredible 89% accuracy.
Let's just put the most shocking results side by side. On the left, you have the raw power of that massive 120 billion parameter model, clocking in at 38.7% accuracy. And on the right, you have the tiny 8 billion parameter model, but with a smart workflow, and it's achieving over 89% accuracy. This isn't just a win, it's a blowout.
So the takeaway here is just impossible to ignore. The game is no longer just about the raw size of your model. This data proves, flat out, that a small, efficient model, guided by an intelligent system, can run circles around a much larger, much more expensive model that's just relying on brute force.
This effect is so powerful that researchers even came up with a way to measure it. It's called the effective parameter ratio, or EPR. And what it does is it shows how much bigger and more powerful a workflow makes a model feel. In one test, a smart workflow gave a 12 billion parameter model an EPR of 8.5. Think about that. The workflow made it perform like a model over 8 times its actual size. That's an insane force multiplier.
So let's bring it all home. These 3 pillars we've talked about, thinking faster, working smarter, and punching above your weight, they aren't just a collection of clever hacks. They represent a fundamental change in strategy. We are moving away from the simple race for scale and into a new era, the art of designing truly intelligent systems.
So what's in this new playbook? It's these 3 core strategies. First, you accelerate your models with things like speculative decoding to get top-tier results without the wait. Second, you master long, complex tasks using smart context management. And third, you use workflow optimization to turn smaller, cheaper models into world-class performers.
Look, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. The cutting edge of AI is no longer just about building the biggest thing you can. The new frontier, where all the exciting breakthroughs are happening, is in computational efficiency, clever algorithms, and the design of smart systems that can do so much more with so much less. And that leaves us with one last, really exciting question to think about. For years, we've believed that an AI's capability was chained directly to its size and its cost. So what happens now? What new tools can we build? What problems can we solve when an AI's potential is finally defined not by how big it is, but by how smart it works?